Want to move on to indices. I'm William Obeng-Denteh of Department of Mathematics, University of Kumasi, Ghana. I will acquaint you with the law of indices and establish some concepts that helps one to deal with questions that involves indices. And so we'll be going through that shortly. This is very important that we know that. And so when we look at this one, what we are saying is that we have our values over here. That is 2 times 2 will give us 4. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 81. And then we look at these first two examples and we see that 2 is raised to the power 1 and this 2 is raised to the power 1. So when we add the indices, we get 2 raised to the power 2 and that gives us 4. Over here we have 3 times itself 4 times. So we say that 3 raised to the power 4 because each of them is raised to the power 1. Now when we look at this in terms of b times b times b times b, 5 times, that will be b raised to the power 5 because we have raised to the power 1, 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 raised to the power 1. And so mostly when we are multiplying values of the same base, what we do is that we add the exponents or the indices. So b raised to the power 4 times b raised to the power 5, we add the indices and then get b raised to the power 9. So this expression here, we call it the first law of indices, which says that to do that, we multiply the exponents of the same number. The indices must be added. If we want to multiply the same with the same number, we will add the indices. And when we do that, that will help us to grapple with the values. Now, we are saying that this is the first law of indices. B raised to the power m times b raised to the power n will give us b raised to the power m plus n. So we need to take note of that and work with it. So we want to do other examples and see. So we are saying that 3 raised to the power 2 times 3 raised to the power 4 will give us 3 raised to the power 2 times 5 will be 5 raised to the power 6 plus 1 because 5 here is raised to the power 1. So we get 5 raised to the power 7. Another example can be 10 raised to the power 3 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 will give us 10 raised to the power 3 minus 2, and that will be 10 raised to the power 1, which will actually be 10. We can move on and say that 7 raised to the power 6 times 7 raised to the power minus 7 will give us 7 raised to the power 6 minus 7, and that will be 7 raised to the power minus 1. We will deal with other values that deal with negative exponents and see how we also consider those ones as well. And so we want to deal with when we have b raised to the power 0. We want to deal with situations like that. And then we can draw some conclusions. So here we are saying that we have b raised to the power 0 times b raised to the power 3, that will be equal to b raised to the power 0 plus 3. And so b raised to the power 0 times b raised to the power 3 will be equal to b raised to the power 3. Now over here we are going to divide both sides by b raised to the power 3. When we do that, this will divide itself and divide that 1. B raised to the power 3 will divide itself 1 and divide this 1. So we get b raised to the power 0 being equal to 1. And this is a very important concept. Very, very important concept. Any number raised to the power 0 will actually give us 1. Any number raised to the power 0 will give us 1. So we look at that as well, and then we work on it. So we say that b raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. We need to take note of that. So, for example, e.g., 5 raised to the power 0 is 1. Negative 7 raised to the power 0 is 1. And so on and so forth. Now, we also want to look at another aspect whereby we can also deal with that. So we have 5 raised to the power minus 3 times 5 raised to the power 3. That will be 5 raised to the power minus 3 plus 3. And that means 5 great. So write 5 raised to the power minus 3 times 5 raised to the power 3. That will give us 5 raised to the power 0. Now, we want to divide both sides by one of the values. So what we are going to do is that we try to find one of the values and we divide both sides by that. And so when we do that, we actually get our value. So we are going to divide this side by 5 raised to the power 3 and then 5 raised to the power 3. Now this divides that and this divides that. And so we'll get 5 raised to the power minus 3, giving us 1 over 5 raised to the power positive 3. So it means that anytime we get 5 raised to the power negative 3, the answer will be 1 over 5 raised to the power 3. The sign here changes. And so we can say that 3 raised to the power minus 2 will give us 1 over 3 raised to the power 2, and so on. So we've established two important concepts here. And so let's take note. Over at this side, we have b raised to the power 0 giving us 1. So any number raised to the power 0 is 1. Over here, 5 raised to the power negative 3 is the same as 1 over 5 raised to the power 3. 3 raised to the power negative 2 is the same as 1 over 3 raised to the power 2. And we can move on and write the final answer and say 1 over 9. And then we are through with that.